Good evening, everyone. The Kindergarten Rocks channel here. It's nearly getting dark out here, so if we have to move somewhere, then that'll be the reason. Anyways, today's book is called "The Best Christmas Pageant Ever." Mrs. Hemphill looked at her. What did the doctor say? We didn't have a doctor. Imogen began scrunching her back up and down against the medicine cabinet. Well, does Ollie have a fever? Is he in bed? No, he's in the first grade. Right now, Miss Hemphill stared. Why he shouldn't be in school with red spots. It could be measles or chickenpox, any number of things, contagious things. What are you doing? Scratching my back? Imogen said. Boy, I itch? The rest of you boys and girls go back to your classroom, Mrs. Hemphill said, and Imogen, you stay right here. So we all went back to our rooms and, Mrs. Hemphill went to the first grade to look at Ollie, and Imogen stayed in the health room and copied down everybody's weight from Mrs. Hemphill's record. Your weight was supposed to be a big secret, like when you got on your report card. It's nobody's business what you get on your report card. And the teacher said, and Mrs. Hemphill said the same thing. It's nobody's business what you weigh. Not even the fat kids can find out what they weigh. But Imogen always knew. Don't let Albert Pelfrey on the swing. She would yell at recess. He'll burst it. Albert Pelfrey weighs 143 pounds. Last time he weighed 137 pounds. 137. So right away, everybody knew two things about Albert. We knew exactly how fat he was, and we knew that he was getting fatter all the time. You have to go to fat camp this summer. Imogen hollered at him. Mrs. Hemphill wrote it down on your paper. Fat camp is a place where they'll feed you lettuce and grapefruit and cottage cheese and eggs for a month. And you either give up and cheat or give up or get skinny. I am not, Albert said. I'm going to Disneyland with my Uncle Frank. That's what you think, Imogen told him. Albert had to believe her. She was always right about things like that, so all year he had fat camp to look forward to instead of Disneyland. Sometimes Imogen would blackmail the fat kids if they had anything she wanted, like Wanda Pierce charm bracelet. Wanda's Pierce weighed about a ton. She even had fat eyes, and her hobby was the charm bracelet. It had 22 charms, and every single one did something. The little wheels turned, or the little bitty piano keys went plink. On the little tiny drawers opened and closed. Besides being a fat kid, Wanda was also a rich kid, so every time you turned around and had a new charm, look at my new charm, she would say. It cost $6.95 without the tax. It's a burden when you push the little knob it wings flutter. It cost $6.95. They were great charms, but everybody got sick of hearing about them, so it was almost a relief when Imogen blackmailed her out of it. I knew how much you weighed, Imogen told her. I wrote it down on this piece of paper. See? It must have been an awful amount, because even Wanda looked horrified. So Imogen got her charm bracelet and she got Lucille's golden imitation alligator pocketbook with souvenirs of Florida written on it. For a while, she got 10 cents a week from Floyd Brush till Floyd caught double pneumonia and lost 15 pounds and didn't care anymore. My father, Alice Wenlecken, was so nasty clean that she had detergent hands by the time she was 4 years old. Just the same, Alice picked up a case of head lice when she was at summer camp and showed how Imogen found out about that. She would sneak up on Alice at recess and holler, "Cooties!" and smacked Alice's head. She nearly knocked Alice cross-eyed before one of the teachers saw her and took both of them into the principal. "Now, what's this all about?" the principal wanted to know, but Alice wouldn't say. "I had to hit her," Imogen told him. "She got cooties, and I saw one crawling in her hair, and I don't want them on me." You did not see one," Alice said. "I don't have them anymore." "What do you mean you don't have them anymore?" the principal said. "Did you have them lately? It really shook him up and didn't want a whole school full of kids with cooties, so he sent Alice to the health room. And the nurse went all through her head with a fine-tooth comb, with a magnifying glass, and finally said it was all right. But it was too late. Everybody called Alice Cooties. The whole rest of the year, if Imogen didn't know a secret about a person, she would make one cup. She would catch you in the girls' room or out in the hall and whisper, "I knew what you did," and then you'd go crazy trying to figure out what it was you did that Imogen knew about. It was no good trying to get secrets on the Herdmans. Everybody already knew about the awful things they did. You couldn't even tease them about their parents or holler, "Your father's in jail," because they didn't care. Actually, they didn't know what their father was or where he was or anything about him. Because when Gladys was 2 years old, he climbed on a railroad train and disappeared and nobody blamed him. Now and then you'd see Mrs. Herdman walking the cat on a length of chain around the block, but she worked double shifts at the shoe factory and wasn't home much. My mother's friend, Mrs. Phillips, was a social service worker, and she tried to give some welfare money for the Herdman, so Mrs. Herdman could just work on shifts and spend more time with her children. But Mrs. Herdman wouldn't do it. She liked the work, she said. "It's not the work," Mrs. Phillips told my mother, "and it's not the money. It's just that she'd rather be at the shoe factory than shut up at home with a crowd of kids." She sighed. "I can't say I blame her. So the Herdmans pretty much looked after themselves. Ralph looked after Imogen, and Imogen looked after Leroy, and Leroy looked after Claude, and so on down the line. The Herdmans were like the most big families. The big ones taught the little ones everything they knew, and the proof of that was that the meanest Herdman of all was Gladys, the youngest. We figured out they were headed straight for hell by the way of the state penitentiary until they got themselves mixed up with the church and my mother and our Christmas pageant. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of chapter 1 of the best Christmas pageant ever. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening.